all! Pokemon Red using only Lapras was a boatload of fun, and it's been a while, but I'm back for another short run of videos. This time, I'm gonna try to beat Pokemon Red using only one Vaporeon. As usual, the rules are, we can only use one Vaporeon in battle, and I can't use any items in battle. By the way, if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and check out more of these videos on my channel. Vaporeon is a water-type Pokemon known for being one of the first set of evolutions. And while Vaporeon has had some success in the singles competitive battle format over the years, it hasn't seen much success in the official VGC format. But that sure didn't stop me from trying. In terms of the stats, they're pretty dang good actually. The attack, defense, and speed are kinda bad, but those don't really matter. And the 110 special is fantastic, and the 130 HP is nuts! As for the move pool, there's not much outside of water and ice type attacks, which might sound limited, but when you've got 110 base special, heck, that's all you need! I can see Lorelei being a pain, but otherwise, I think Vaporeon is going to wash the competition. Alright, let's do this. Off at Professor Oak's lab, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Squirtle with Vaporeon so that our rival will pick Bulbasaur. By the end of the run, the rival will have a Venusaur, which will know Razor Leaf, which always critical hits, making it the hardest starter for Vaporeon to handle. And Vaporeon is one of the cute and fluffy evolutions that's based off of a mermaid, so I nicknamed ours Furmaid. Fun fact, apparently sailors used to view mermaids as a sign of both good and bad luck, so I guess this challenge could go either way. Vaporeon actually starts off with a complete moveset, and that doesn't happen very often. Water Gun is our best move, but it's resisted by the rival's Grass-type Bulbasaur. But even so, our special is so much higher by comparison that it probably does more damage than Quick Attack, our next best move. Bubs' Bulbasaur goes down quickly and without much trouble, and while it wasn't very hard this time to beach him, things will get harder for our mermaid later, I assure you. By the time I made it to Pewter City, Vaporeon was only level 6, less than half of the level of Brock's Rocks, but that really doesn't matter. Water Gun is double super effective against both of those rocks, and they can't smash past our gargantuan HP stat, especially when Onix goes for Bide. Listen, you're not going to get nearly enough time to unleash that energy there, bub. Like, a tea kettle's never going to get the chance to whistle if it doesn't have enough time to boil, you know what I'm saying? And our mermaid ran through this battle so fast, you might even call it a blurmaid. After traversing Mount Moon, I make it to Cerulean City and take out the Cerulean Gym Leader Misty so we can upgrade our Water Gun with the TM4 Bubble Beam. Brock did one useful thing though, which is to give us the TM for Bide. Bide deals back twice the damage taken by the user during a 2 to 3 turn period, which is especially great for Vaporeon because we have plenty of HP to spare. The more hit points they deal, the more damage they take, and we've got so much HP that our Bide did more damage to Misty Starfish than the hurricane I unleash into my toilet after too much Italian food, or as I like to call it, a male stromboli. With Misty behind us, I teach Vaporeon the TM for Bubble Beam and head to take on Bubs. Bubble Beam is a huge upgrade to our power level, and you can see that with it, we get all kinds of damage in on Bubs. Even though it resists water-type attacks, not even the Bulbasaur can stand up to the torrent as we whack it away with our watery ways. Looks like our Bubble Beam made that Bubba scream. After beating Bubs' Bulbasaur, we hop aboard the SS Anne to take on the rival Bubs once again. And aboard the boat, I pick up the TM for Body Slam, and I don't teach it to Vaporeon, because, yeah, surprisingly, it can't learn it. So I'm gonna have a fun time with Bubs' Ivysaur, yay! Yay. We managed to get past Pidgeotto without getting sand attacked thanks to a cheater's potion, and the rest of his Pokemon go down easily. I mean, granted, we're at level 25, but I've done the minimum number of battles, so there's really not much I can do about that. Ivysaur takes several Bubble Beams to go down, and Leech Seed actually uses our higher HP stat against us. And since Ivysaur has a much lower base HP than Vaporeon, it gets a much higher percentage of its health back from Leech Seed. But we knock it out anyway, so I guess it didn't really matter. Bubs needs a whole team of Pokemon just to lose, but Vaporeon can get the job done all by itself. Or as I like to call it, lagooning. And if you understood that joke, go outside. Now that we can use Cut outside of battle, it's time to take on Lieutenant Surge at the Cerulean City gym. But this is easier said than done. Despite our higher level, Surge's Pokemon are electric types, and Vaporeon is weak to their electric attacks. Voltorb and Pikachu don't get so much as a chance to fart before getting knocked out, yeah I know, but Raichu actually hurts us with Thunderbolt. And had it kept going for Thunderbolt, and had we not gotten the speed drop from Bubble Beam, we would have probably lost this one. The gods gave us a gift on that one, because we sure stole that win. Good thing I always pray to Kleptune. After crawling through the dark and rock tunnel, I arrive in Lavender Town to take on the rival Bubs in the Pokemon Tower. Before the battle though, I slipped on over to Cerulean City to grab the TM for Ice Beam, which helps with Pokemon like Pidgeotto, Ivysaur, and Bubs' newest member Gyarados, which resists water. Now that Vaporeon has a good water-type move and a good ice-type move, we are absolutely dashing past all of Bubs' Pokemon. And let's just take a moment to acknowledge that holy crap, this thing is so good! And with this upgraded moveset, I'm sitting fat with my aquatic cat. Or as I like to call it, a permaid. After crushing Bubs harder than a stink bug hitting a windshield on the Autobahn, I head to the Cerulean City gym to take on Erica the Grass Gym Leader. This time, however, I am become the stink bug. Vaporeon can't 1-hit KO with Ice Beam, where something like Lapras in the last video could, because we don't get the same type attack bonus for Ice Beam. And this means Victory Bell gets to put us to sleep and crush us with Razor Leaf. Thankfully though, this only happened like 13 times, so fun! Well, I guess like a sunbathing mermaid, our plan is on the rocks. Eventually though, Victory Bell forgoes putting us to sleep on the first turn, opting to just Razor Leaf instead. This battle is another reason why I'm glad we've got Ice Beam on Vaporeon, because without it, we couldn't two-shot these grass types, which not only means that Victory Bell would knock us out, but it wouldn't leave enough HP at the end of the battle to defeat the Vileplume, which I lost to repeatedly until on one attempt, we just froze the stupid thing. Yeah! And it turns out, all we needed was a little bit of ice to complete our cocktail of victory. Or as I like to call it, shaken not stirred made. After beating Erica, I head to the game corner to take on Giovanni in the Team Rocket hideout. What an absolute merry-go-round these past 3 battles have been. We went from bashing Bubs to being eradicated by Erica to now once again gagging Giovanni. 3 hits is all it takes, or as I like to call it, 1, 2, 3 Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo. You know, Sea-Doo like a jet ski? Look, they can't all be winners, alright? Sometimes the jokes crash and burn. Or as I like to call it, a quip wreck. It's good to be back. Now it's time to take on Koga at the Fuchsia City Gym. Before heading into the gym, I made sure to head to the Safari Zone to get the HM for Surf. I usually avoid ever teaching HMs to our solo runner, because you can't delete them in this game. However, I'm not a fan of the horribly inaccurate Hydro Pump, so Surf's the strongest water move we'll get. Thankfully, we don't miss Surf after Muck's Minimize, and since we leveled up, we pick up the 1-hit KO on the next Coughing, which we barely missed on the first Coughing. Things get a little weird though when we get to the Wheezing. Surf barely misses the 2-hit KO, and I'm just waiting for the ticking time bomb that is Self-Destruct. I think we could survive, but knowing my luck, it would critical hit. And speaking of my luck, we get the 1 in 256 glitch to miss Surf right as we're about to knock out Wheezing and win the battle. So, oh boy, here it comes, Self-Toxic. Oh. Huh. Well, that was kind of anticlimactic. You know, like a fart that you hope will be a thunderclap heard across the heavens. But instead, it's just a sneaky little squeaker. I don't even have a joke, it's just disappointing, really. After beating Koga, I head to Saffron City for yet another rival battle with Bubs in the Silph Company building. Pidgeot surprisingly hangs on, and it takes a couple of Ice Beams to knock out Gyarados. And you might be thinking, oh, that's not a lot of damage for a super effective hit on the Gyarados. Well, it's not super effective. That's just a glitch with the game. Fun! Alakazam comes out and decides to do diddly by double disabling, but it was a double dud. And then Venusaur hits us with its new move, Razor Leaf, which will always critical hit and does a ton of damage, but we happen to be faster than Venusaur, so we get to knock it out in 2 hits before it can do the same to us. A second Razor Leaf probably would have knocked us out, but hey, we'll never know. The best we can do at this point is make an educated guess. Call me an Infermaid? After beating Bubs, I'm off to dunk on Giovanni just real quick like. And Nidorino survives a Surf, but once it goes down, we level up and I teach Acid Armor to Vaporeon. It's a great move not only because it raises our defense by 2 stages with each use, but also because it lets us get additional badge boosts. And I know, but for those that are uninitiated, every time your stats are modified in battle in this game, the boosts to our stats, given by the gym badges, are reapplied. And look, I know you've seen this strategy time and time again, and while I could try something new, I just don't want to go chasing waterfalls. Which is also a move that Vaporeon can get in this game, but only by teaching it to Vaporeon in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and then sending it back through the time machine. Or as I like to call it, a transfer made. Before battling Sabrina, I decide to head to Cinnabar Island to take on the Fire-type gym leader Blaine. I mean, really, I just want to get the Volcano badges boost to our special stat, and, you know, it's the Fire Gym, so there's that. This battle will be easy. I go for an Acid Armor just so our speed will be boosted enough to move before Rapidash can lock us into Fire Spin, but we level up after the Growlithe, which resets all the extra badge boosts anyways, so cool. Thankfully, Rapidash doesn't use Fire Spin, so we win this delightfully uneventful gym battle. You could say we're just coasting along, and things are looking pretty shormal. Alright, now that I've got the Volcano badge to boost our special, I head back to the Saffron City Gym to take on the Psychic-type leader Sabrina. I take out her Kadabra as quickly as possible, and once it goes down, we level up. Which is great, because now we can badge boost using Acid Armor against the Mr. Mime, and we'll get to keep the boost for the rest of the battle. Mr. Mime goes down in a single hit, and so does the Venomoth with a critical hit that probably mattered as much as my 2nd grade T-Ball trophy, but the Alakazam survives. But also Surf does more than recovers, so we finish it off. Yeah, I like it when things go according to plan. It's like music to my ears, and Vaporeon is the composer. Or as I like to call it, Fludwig van Beethoven? Okay, these are getting out of control. Now it's time for the final showdown with Giovanni for our final gym badge. And the hardest part of this battle is avoiding the carpal tunnel in my right thumb from having to click the A button over Surf so quickly in succession. Seriously, Giovanni's Pokemon go down so quickly that I'm running out of time to finish this unnecessarily long run-on sentence before the battle will actually be over. And unfortunately, I have a tendency to use unnecessarily long and verbose sentences when I could easily substitute them with much more succinct, shorter phrases. For example, instead of saying, and I quote, a narrow passage of water connecting 2 seas or 2 other large areas of water, end quote, I could just get straight to the point. Huh. I thought that joke would work. Oh well, I guess it requires further canalysis. Before we take on the Elite Four, we have to battle the rival Bubs once again. And this one was so frustrating. I know the Venusaur at the end is going to be a real pain, okay? So Daddy's going to have to get some badge boost, yeah, whatever. Pidgeot goes down, and we level up, so it's time to boost. Rhyhorn even helps us to get more badge boost, not only by lowering our defense, which gives boosts, but lowering our defense lets us use even more Acid Armors than the 3 that we could get normally. And with that, we're blasting through Bubs' Pokemon, until we get to the Alakazam, which survives and confuses us with Psybeam. Sick. Cool. Love it. We knock it out, but then we get taken down by the Venusaur because we leveled up and lost our badge boost, so it survives our Ice Beam, and then Vaporeon slaps itself in the face from confusion as we get knocked out. Swell. Might as well hurl myself into the ocean with that kind of luck. But sometimes, you know, things get blown 4-leaf cloverboard. Or would that be good luck? I don't know. I'm too stupid to know the answer to that. Okay, let's try this again. I've got enough badge boost to knock the Alakazam out in 2 hits, but I guess it's gonna be 3 because we get another 1 in 256 glitch miss in this video, which is probable. It's okay. It's okay. Just calm down and nope. Nope, we got confused again. Okay, just pray that we don't hit ourselves in yes, okay. And no Razor Leaf? Okay, no confusion? Oh, thank God. You know, stuff like this is no wonder why I attempt to hide my true feelings by grouping together all these little jokes, like tiny islands of sarcasm. Or as I like to call it, a snarkapelago. Alright, it's time to take on the Elite Four. But first, here are the stats and moves. Vaporeon is level 49 and feeling fine. Attack, defense, and speed, they're mid. But look at that special. Ugh! And when we get to the moves, you'll also see that I've replaced Bite with Rest. And normally I wouldn't use Rest because it leaves you vulnerable for 2 turns, but here I actually think Vaporeon is bulky enough for it to be usable. Hopefully, we don't do something accidentally to incur bad luck, but knowing the way sailors viewed superstition, we're probably bound to do something wrong. Speaking of which, did you know that apparently it was bad luck to sail on Thursdays, also bad luck for Fridays, also the first Monday in April, the second Monday in August? Good grief, these sailors had more rules than a Mormon game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or as I like to call it, Heart of the Cardigans? Alright, let's start the dang Elite Four with the one member that I've been worried about during this entire run. Lorelei has a team full of water and ice types, meaning both of our offensive types are resisted by her Pokemon. And as you can see from this grueling footage, it takes a very long time for Dugong to get knocked out, so much so that I had to maximize my BP for Surf. Dugong is super trolly, since it also knows Rest, which wipes away all of the progress that we've made, and hey, wait a minute, that's the exact same thing I was trying to do. Sure is annoying when she does it, and definitely not cringy when I do it. Cloyster actually is a 2-hit KO from Surf, mostly because it's got pretty dookie special, and we're pretty low on health by the time Slowbro comes out, so I've got to heal with Rest. A couple of Surfs takes it down, and then Vaporeon levels up, meaning it's time to go for Acid Armors to boost our special. It also helps us take less damage from Jinx's Thrashes and Body Slams and occasionally Double Slaps, which helps to stave off getting knocked out long enough to use Rest again. This heals our health, removes the paralysis we got from an earlier Body Slam, and once we take down the Jinx, we've got 3 badge boosts and almost all of our health going into the Lapras. This means that even though our Surfs do a paltry amount of damage, we can outlast it long enough to take it down. And even if we get low on health, we just heal again. The only bad part about Rest is the 2 turns of guaranteed sleep. And come on, Vaporeon, wake up! Have some coffee, you turkey! Hey, speaking of coffee and mermaids, I got a joke. What do you call Team Rocket's favorite brand of coffee? Starbucks! With Lorelei defeated, it's time to take on Bruno. His team is just like a sack of marbles, if instead of marbles, the sack were filled with disappointment. His Pokemon don't stand a chance at taking down Vaporeon, even without boosting our defense. 2 of his Pokemon are a couple of cruddy Onix, so you know Surf's gonna take them out without a problem, and even his other 3 Pokemon go down in a single hit, despite taking neutral damage from water moves. Heck, it might have been more fair to fight Bruno with Water Gun again. I have the TM after all, but that would be moving backwards, and I'm always moving forwards. I'm innovating. I'm on that rise and grind. I'm an entrepreneur maid. Now it's time for the Elite Four member Agatha, whose team is incredibly annoying, not only because she spams frustrating status moves, but her ghosts have high special, so they can tank our attacks. Yay! Surf's not even a 2-hit KO on the lead Gengar, so we're very vulnerable to being sacked with sleep. Even worse, Agatha gets to laud us with multiple Dream Eaters, which also help to heal her hexing hombres. And if we're not asleep, we're just sitting here slapping ourselves in the face repeatedly and getting absolutely nothing done. I don't even want to use Rest to heal, because that just makes it more likely that we get hit with Dream Eater. So, just gotta keep trying until I can knock this stupid thing out. But after failing a bunch of attempts, I guess it's time to mix things up. Call me a Stir Maid. I use a couple of rare candies and try again at level 53. This not only makes us stronger, just for having more stats, but we get an additional slight damage boost from the way the damage formula rounds damage for Pokemon whose level ends in 0, 3, 5, or 8. Plus, using rare candies resets our experience, so we don't level up during the battle, and therefore get to keep our badge boost for the rest of the battle. And that's the key. I try to set up Acid Armors against the Golbat to turn our moves from 3-hit KOs into 2-hit KOs on our strongest Pokemon. Sometimes, though, Golbat removes all of our stat boosts, including the badge boost, by using the move Haze. But we can always just use more Acid Armors in that case. It takes a bunch of tries, but eventually we're able to take out her team, mostly because they opt to do damage with Nightshade rather than spamming status moves. And you know what? I'm cool with that. I agree with your choices, Agatha. Call me a concur maid. These jokes are bottom of the barrel, bottom of the barrel. Next up is the final Elite Four member, Lance the Dragon Master. And he might honestly be the easiest of all the Elite Four members for Vaporeon to defeat. Well, maybe not easier than Bruno, but that's not exactly hard to do now, is it? He leads off with Gyarados, which is the Pokemon most resistant to our moves, but also an easy Pokemon for us to set up on. The best move it has is Hyper Beam, which not only does less damage the more Acid Armors we raise our defense with, but also forces a recharge turn, giving us another chance to boost. Plus, if Gyarados uses Leer to lower our defense, that's badge boost, plus another boost from getting to use Acid Armor again. And once it goes down, the rest of Lance's Pokemon are a trivial troop of one-hit KOs, even after we level up right before the Dragonite and lose our additional boosts. It's 4 times weak to Ice Beam, so we didn't even need those heckin' badge boosts. But then again, I guess that should have been pretty obvious in the first place. Call me a no-dur maid. Finally, it's time to take on the champion, our rival Bubs. I'm pretty confident going into this, since I know that if I can just get past the first 2 Pokemon, there's a perfectly supple Rhydon for us to exploit for badge boost and healing. First things first, though, we take down the Pidgeot before it can land a Sky Attack, but then disaster strikes. Alakazam comes out and lands a Psychic, which gets the bonus effect of lowering our special stat. Well, great. That's going to make winning this battle pretty much impossible. Assuming that we can even get past the Alakazam, which doesn't happen because Bubs gets a critical hit. Oh, come on! I know it's relative to base speed and Alakazam is pretty fast, but seriously. About to turn me into a slur maid. Okay, this time around, I try to badge boost straight away so that I have the boost while fighting the Alakazam. It will mean that I'll level up halfway through the battle and lose those badge boosts for Pokemon like Gyarados and also more importantly, the Venusaur, but whatever, let's just try it and see how it goes. Well, it definitely made it easier to take down the Pidgeot and the Alakazam. Plus, I guess we weren't really in any danger against the Gyarados anyways. But holy cow do I notice a difference when we get to fight the Gyarados without badge boosts. Because is our Ice Beam even a 4-hit KO? Well, a critical hit means we'll never know, I guess. Anyways, Arcanine goes down to Surf, and then it's the Venusaur. Ice Beam does a ton, but then a critical hit Mega Drain, yeah you heard that right, does a ton of damage and heals Venusaur so much that another Ice Beam won't take it out. Razor Leaf is now a guaranteed loss, unless we then get a critical hit. Okay. Second try Bubs battle, not too shabby. I'll take it. Yeah! It's moments like these that really drive me. You know, like a chauffeur maid. And with that, the challenge is over. Vaporeon was a ridiculously good Pokemon. Seriously, I thought Lapras was great, but I think Vaporeon was even better. I guess the key difference is that where Lapras was all about boating, there is a tactical advantage to an aerial assault. As always, I want to thank you all for making it to the end of this video. These videos are a lot of fun, but also a lot of work, so I really do appreciate it. And there's a playlist on my channel where you can check out the rest of my Pokemon challenge videos as well. And if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you'll know right away the next time one of these episodes is uploaded. And if you want access to all my other videos without ads, consider becoming a member or joining on Patreon. And let me know in the comments what other Pokemon you want to see, and maybe I'll do it. Next time, I'll be trying to beat Pokemon Red using only one Flareon. Alright, until then,